Welcome to the Crystal Earth Podcast. I'm Nick Sconia, and today we're traveling not across space, but back in time, 46 million years ago, to the forests of what is now Montana. In that ancient world, a mosquito took a blood meal, only to be trapped and fossilized in shale rock. That specimen, rediscovered decades later, became the first known mosquito fossil ever found with blood preserved inside its body. It's a remarkable window into deep time, one that bridges paleontology, chemistry, and even our understanding of ecosystems long vanished. The story begins in the early 1980s. A geology graduate student, Kurt Constantinius, was exploring the Kishenehn Formation near Glacier National Park in northwestern Montana. This formation is made up of fine-grained shale, deposited in a lake environment about 46 million years ago. Among hundreds of insect fossils he collected, one looked like an ordinary mosquito, delicate wings, thin legs, and a slender body. It was stored away in a basement for decades until a retired biochemist named Dale Greenwald began cataloging specimens for the Smithsonian. That's when he noticed something unusual. The mosquito's abdomen was dark and swollen, a sign it may have fed shortly before it was entombed. Insects fossilize fairly often, but almost always in amber, or as flattened impressions of their external shapes. What made this mosquito different was that the dark stain inside its abdomen wasn't just a trick of preservation. Laboratory analysis revealed elevated iron levels inside the abdomen, the chemical fingerprint of blood. Even more striking, researchers detected porphyrins, molecular fragments associated with heme, the oxygen-carrying part of hemoglobin. This was the first clear chemical evidence that the insect had once fed on blood. Not only is the fossil exquisitely preserved, but the chemical traces of life's processes, feeding and metabolism, survived for tens of millions of years. So what does this tell us? We now have proof that mosquitoes were blood-feeding insects 46 million years ago. That behavior is not new. It has deep evolutionary roots. But there are limits. Scientists cannot determine what animal the mosquito fed on, whether it was a bird, a mammal, or something else that lived in the Eocene forests. And there is no DNA. Genetic material decays much too quickly, and after millions of years, it is far beyond recovery. This isn't a step toward resurrecting dinosaurs. Instead, it's a step toward understanding the chemical resilience of certain biological molecules and how traces of life can persist under exceptional conditions. The Kishenehn Formation provided just the right environment for this level of preservation. Fine-grained sediments settled quickly to the bottom of ancient lakes. Oxygen levels there were low, slowing decay. The rapid burial essentially sealed off the mosquito, protecting delicate structures and even traces of its last meal. This kind of preservation is rare and highlights why certain rock formations become treasure troves for paleontologists. They don't just preserve bones or shells, but snapshots of fragile moments, insects mid-flight, leaves mid-fall, or in this case, a mosquito just after feeding. This fossil underscores three important ideas. First, it confirms that blood-feeding behavior in mosquitoes was already established by the Eocene epoch. Their ecological role as parasites and as part of food webs is ancient. Second, it demonstrates that certain molecules, like hemaderivatives, can survive for tens of millions of years. That finding shapes how scientists search for organic signatures in other fossils, and even informs strategies for detecting traces of life on other planets. Third, it shows the value of museum collections. A fossil collected in the 1980s, forgotten in a basement, became a groundbreaking discovery decades later. Science often advances this way, not just through new expeditions, but through fresh eyes and new technology applied to old specimens. A mosquito's brief meal, trapped in stone for 46 million years, now speaks across time. It reminds us that the ordinary, even a bite from a mosquito, can become extraordinary when preserved by Earth's slow, patient geology. Thanks for joining me on Crystal Earth Podcast. I'm Nick Sconia, and I'll be back with more stories where Earth, time, and life intersect. Until then, keep exploring.